Hey, I'm Shanti Nolan, founder of Keller Yoga, where we specialize in educating you on how to improve the quality of your life through experiential classes, workshops, and trainings. Today, I want to educate you on the science and the anatomy of breathing so that when you understand the power and the benefits of how to breathe and what it's doing in your body, you will actually do it. And when you do it, it will change your life. And truly, I'm so passionate about teaching this because it's the most empowering thing I can offer you, is how to use your own breath. Because it's the one thing that you have access to 24/7. You don't need health insurance, you don't need to call a doctor, you don't need a prescription, you don't have to be anywhere. It's with you 24/7 wherever you are, and you have the power to change your internal chemistry, your mind, and your body through the way you breathe. How? Well, let me tell you. Because if you're anything like me, you have to know how in order to actually do it, to motivate you. So, let me give you a little background on the nervous system and the anatomy of your lungs and your diaphragm so that this will all make sense. First, you have your nervous system. The nervous system is split into two main parts. You have your central nervous system, which consists of your brain and your spinal cord. And then you have your peripheral nervous system, which is all the rest of your nerves in your body. The ones that connect from the brain and spinal cord and go to your hands and your organs and your feet and your legs and your eyes. And now your peripheral nervous system, all the nerves that are floating through your body, those nerves are split into two main categories. It's your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight and freeze nervous system. It's the part of your nervous system that makes your heart race. It gives blood to your muscles so that you can be prepared to run or fight. It produces cortisol, which is a stress hormone in your body so that you're amped up. And it increases your respiration. It increases your sweat. And it decreases your digestion, because if you're about to die from a tiger attacking you, you don't want all your energy going to digest your lunch. You want it to be going to running away, right? Then we also have another aspect of the peripheral nervous system, which is called your autonomic nervous system. And that's a part of your nervous system that helps you, that increases your digestion. It decreases your heart rate, your blood pressure, your respiration rate. It increases your healing capacity, and it's known as your rest and respond nervous system. It's also the part of your nervous system that when it is stimulated, increases your willpower. Because what most people don't realize is that willpower is an instinct. We think that survival instinct is the only instinct that we have, but we actually have an instinct located in the part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex, that is our willpower, that gives us the capacity to make long-term decisions and reach our long-term goals and keep us happy. And all this is regulated through our autonomic nervous system. Great. Okay, so how do we get into our autonomic nervous system? Our society is filled with stress. We're constantly bombarded, and rarely do we get a chance to take a deep breath, reduce our stress, and get back into a state of resting and rejuvenating our body and our mind, right? So this is how it works. The autonomic nervous system has one main instrument, one main nerve that controls the whole system, and that's called the vagus nerve. VAGUS, the vagus nerve. It's located in the brain, and it starts right at the base of the brain, and it innervates your facial muscles, it innervates your throat, your windpipes, your vocal cords. It goes down and innervates the heart, the lungs, the liver, the gallbladder, kidneys, pancreas, spleen, intestines, and colon. Just a few kind of important things that you might need to survive. All of this is regulated by the vagus nerve. Okay, that's good to know. Well, what else about the nervous system? When you stimulate the vagus nerve, it has profound effects on the mental and physical health of yourself. Physically, when you stimulate this vagus nerve, it produces a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine eats up inflammation in your body. So any arthritis or pain in the joints, in the muscles, in your digestive tract, all the inflammation that we feel that creates pain in our body, acetylcholine will eat it up. You don't have to take a supplement. By stimulating your vagus nerve, it automatically produces that inside of your own body. When you stimulate the vagus nerve, it also stimulates human growth hormone. I used to be a supplement buyer at Whole Foods, and we would have some human growth hormone supplements on the shelf. But little did I know at that time that the way I breathe, by stimulating this vagus nerve, I can increase the production of human growth hormone, which helps to restore and rejuvenate and repair all the internal organs and tissues of my body. When you stimulate the vagus nerve, it also creates the sprouting of new stem cells in your brain. So your brain can stay young, stay active, stay alert and clear. When you stimulate the vagus nerve, it actually helps to reduce allergens. So if you have a lot of allergies, when you stimulate this vagus nerve, it reduces your allergic response. It has many other benefits, which I'll say one more. It's also being used right now in medical situations for depression. They call it vagal nerve stimulation. And when you stimulate the vagus nerve, it actually helps to reduce depression. And they're using it as treatment. So how do we stimulate the vagus nerve? I hear it. You're wondering the question. You're shouting it out. I want to know. It's the way you breathe. Wait a minute. I've been breathing my whole life and I've gotten sick. I've been breathing my whole life and I've gotten depressed. I've been breathing my whole life and I'm getting old. I've got pain. How is breathing stimulating the vagus nerve if I've already been doing it my whole life? Well, it's the way you breathe. There's a very specific way to do it that will stimulate your vagus nerve, and I'm going to show you how that happens. Okay, so you have your major breathing muscle called your diaphragm, and it's like a dome shape or a parachute shaped muscle. It's a sheet of muscle that separates your upper torso from your lower torso. The only thing that is above the diaphragm in your body are your heart and your two lungs, okay? Everything else, all your other organs are below it. So how do you think that you get blood from your heart down to the rest of your body if there's this big sheet of muscle that's separating it? There's a little hole in the diaphragm for your veins and artery to go through to get blood to the rest of your body. All right. Well, how do you think you get food from your mouth to your tummy if there's a big sheet of muscle? There's one other hole in the diaphragm for your esophagus. And here's the key. The vagus nerve, I said, starts in your brain, innervates your face, all your whole throat, your windpipe, your lungs, and your heart, and it wraps around and it almost completely covers the esophagus, okay? So now visualize this. You have your diaphragm muscle. Your diaphragm connects to your sternum, to the lower part of your ribs, all the way around to your spine, all right? When you breathe in, the diaphragm muscle, I'll go like this because this is what it kind of looks like. Diaphragm muscle contracts, it pulls down and pulls your lungs down to create a vacuum so the oxygen comes in. As you exhale, the lungs empty out and they pull the diaphragm back up. So it looks like this when it's relaxed and the lungs are empty. As you breathe in, it pulls down, spreads out, and lets the lungs fill up with air. Okay, so here's the movement of your diaphragm. Exhaling comes up, inhaling goes out. When it inhales and goes out, it pushes all the organs underneath it out, and that's why your belly gets big when you breathe in, if you're breathing in properly and diaphragmatically. Okay, so you can take your hands to your lower part of your ribs. You can do this right now. Take your hands here, and you're going to take a deep breath in, and you're going to feel the lower part of your ribs expand out to the side and your belly fill up. On your exhale, you're going to draw your belly button back to your spine and hug your lower ribs in. So inhale and exhale. This is movement of your diaphragm. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, so now you think about the diaphragm moving up and down and up and down, and the esophagus, which is covered by the vagus nerve, is moving right down in the middle of it. Then you can imagine this is how you stimulate the vagus nerve, right? If you're breathing really shallowly, so pretend my finger is my esophagus, and I'm breathing really shallow, the diaphragm is barely moving. And you can feel that because the diaphragm muscle is connected down here to your lower ribs. If you're breathing just up here in your chest, the diaphragm is barely moving, and so therefore your vagus nerve is not being stimulated. If you're breathing jagged, do you think that's going to be very relaxing or a continuous stimulation for the vagus nerve? No, it's not. It gets triggered and then it goes on and off and it doesn't know what is happening, right? Or maybe you walk around and you hold your breath. You're like, yeah, how is things going? Yeah, well, I'm pretty good. Or maybe you hold your breath out. And so that whole time, there's no stimulation of the vagus nerve, which puts your body into stress response. It puts your body into sympathetic nervous system. So when you start to breathe slow, deep, continuous, meaning you don't have any pauses or breaks in the breath, even and smooth, you start to massage and stimulate the vagus nerve very effectively. And the more effectively you stimulate that nerve, then the more effective you're going to be at restoring, rejuvenating, and healing all the tissues of your body, reducing depression and anxiety, bringing about more willpower and courage, being able to be happy and achieve your long-term goals. You're going to be reducing the inflammation throughout your whole body. And there's another thing that I forgot to say, that when you stimulate your vagus nerve, it produces a response to close off the receptor sites to your stress hormone cortisol. So it actively blocks stress hormones from getting stored in your body. All this from the way you breathe. And when I found all this stuff out about it, I started realizing that I have access to change my life 24/7 just by the way I breathe. So I take my attention to my slow, deep, diaphragmatic breathing while I'm washing the dishes, while I'm driving my car, while I'm listening to my best friend tell me about her day. I'm deep breathing. And guess what? If you do it like that, it doesn't take any extra time out of your day because you're already breathing. If you simply change the way you're breathing to allow it to be a little bit deeper, a little bit more continuous, a little bit smoother, you're going to start stimulating this nerve so that your body resets, your nervous system resets, and you'll feel a difference in your mind. I hope this was very helpful for you. I hope you start breathing more efficiently, more effectively. It will reduce the workload of your heart, and when your heart has less work, guess what? It's happier. I hope this was really helpful for you. I hope it changes your life. If you use it, I promise that it will. Come see us here at Keller Yoga for any of our trainings or workshops that we've got going on. You can check us out at kelleryoga.com. Namaste.